Good morning one and all. Welcome to my channel. My today's video is on poem 6 of standard 10th, sonnet 73, or it is called by the other name, that time of year. It is either called as sonnet 73 or that time of year, written by William Shakespeare. First, let's discuss about the poet William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was the greatest English dramatist and a poet. He is best known for his play Romeo and Juliet. William Shakespeare has written 154 sonnets. He has written 154 sonnets. The first 126 are dedicated to his friend Mr. W.H., a young man. He is a young friend of William Shakespeare, and Shakespeare has dedicated the first 126 sonnets to his friend. The present poem, Sonnet 73, is dedicated to his young friend. So first let me tell you what is a sonnet. A sonnet is a poem of 14 lines. It's a poem of 14 lines with a structured rhyme scheme in which a thought about a subject is developed thoroughly. It's a 14-line poem with a structured rhyme scheme in which a thought about a subject is developed thoroughly. This word sonnet is derived from an Italian word, sonetto, meaning a little sound or a little song. So the present poem, Sonnet 73, is a little song dedicated to the young friend of William Shakespeare. In this present poem, we have 3 quatrains and a couplet. Then what is a quatrain now? A quatrain is composed of 4 lines. A poem wherein their composition is made of 4 lines. And there is one couplet, 2 lines, consisting of 2 lines. A poem consisting of 2 lines. If we put 2 lines, we say it is a couplet. If we write 4 lines, if there are 4 lines in a poem, then we say a quatrain. Totally we have 3 quatrains and 1 couplet. So 12 plus 2 will be 14. That is why 14-line poem, it is sonnet. And because this is the 73rd sonnet, it is called a sonnet 73, that time of year. In this poem, the poet invokes, he mentions a series of metaphors to characterize nature. In this poem, he characterizes nature. Versus what? Versus human life. Nature versus human life. He has explained about the stages in human life, the 4 stages in human life. His childhood, his youth, old age and death. Childhood, youth, old age and death. The poet compares his age to autumn season, his age to the twilight, that is the time after sunset and just before the moon is visible. After sunset and before moon is visible, the time is said to be a twilight. Then his age to ashes, his age to autumn season, his age to twilight and his age to ashes. In the first 3 quatrains, he compares these things, and finally in the couplet, he tells the young man that he must perceive all the 3 things above in life, and that love must be strengthened by knowledge. He says in the couplet, the poet in the couplet says that his friend should perceive all these things, what he has told in the 3 quatrains. And he has to strengthen his bonding, he has to strengthen his friendship, he has to strengthen his relationship by what? By the knowledge, by the experience. So, coming to the explanation, stanza wise, the first stanza or the first quatrain. That time of the year thou mayest in me behold, when yellow leaves or none or few do hang upon those boughs which shake against the cold, bare ruined choirs where late the sweet birds sang. Here the poet compares his age to the late autumn season or the early winters, to the late autumn or the early winter. In the autumn season, as we all know, the trees shed their leaves, they are bare, the branches are bare, the yellow leaves are about to fall, they are almost hanging, some have already fallen, some are just hanging. So the cold winds that blow make these hanging yellow leaves fall. These yellow leaves are referred to the leaves that have faded away. They are almost, the green leaves have turned yellow. They are almost about to fall, or few have already fallen. When the branches, here in the poem they have used the word bough, B-O-U-G-H-S, boughs, means branches. The branches are without the leaves. When the branches are without leaves, then no birds will sit on these branches to sing their sweet song. Earlier, when the branches were full of green leaves, the birds used to come sit on the branches and sing sweetly. But now, when the leaves have fallen, the boughs are bare, the birds do not come to sing their sweet songs, do not come to sit on these branches because the branches bear no leaf. Here there is a comparison made by the poet. He says that there are no choirs sung in the church. The chorus songs which are sung in the church are called choirs. So he compares, there are no songs, there are no choirs in the church. There are no birds on the branches. We cannot hear the sweet song of the birds. As the branches are without leaves and the birds, so are the churches without the choirs. Bare leafless branches where the sweet birds used to sit and sing earlier are now compared to bare ruined choirs. Here poet compares the season of nature with his old age. Old age brings harshness, emptiness. In the first quatrain, he imagines himself to be in the late autumn or the early winters. That is his old age. The autumn season of the poem of the nature is referred to the old age of the human, because there is a comparison between the nature and the human. Coming to the second stanza, or the second quatrain, in me thou seest the twilight of such a day, as after sunset fadeth in the west, which by and by black night doth take away, death's second self that seals up all in rest. This is the second quatrain. The poet says that his age is like a late twilight. Twilight, when the sun sets in the west, it slowly leads to darkness. The poet compares this to death's second self, that is sleep. When we die, it means we are in a sound sleep. We never come back from that sound sleep. So that's the second self, sleep. The poet imagines himself to approach a night in his life. Night is the death, the black night is the death. According to the poet, no one likes this twilight because it will soon be night. Twilight, after sunset, there is a very short period just before moon, just before we can see moon in the sky, that period, that after sunset it brings the night. So nobody will like this darkness. Here black night is compared to death, sleep is compared to death. Our life comes to an end very soon. So nobody will like this twilight, because soon after that twilight we are going to have night. Coming to the third stanza, the third quatrain. In me thou seest the glowing of such fire, that on the ashes of his youth doth lie, as the dark bed whereon it must expire, consumed with that which it was nourished by. The poet here tells that when he was young and energetic, he was like fire. The fire, when it catches fire, it glows with lots of light. In the same way, the author, in his young age, he was energetic, he was enthusiastic, just like the glowing fire. But now when it catches the fire, there is one period where it glows and finally we find the ashes. In the same way, the youth of the poet has passed away, and now what we can find? His young age is over and his old age is approaching. We see that when fire glows, it glows with bright light. So also the young age, when the same fire turns to ashes, there is absolutely nothing left. So is his old age, approaching the death stage. So these are the three quatrains. Coming to the last two lines, we call it a couplet. This thou perceivest, which makes thy love more strong, to love that well which thou must live ere long. What does it mean? It means that when you think of all these stages in life, then we realize how short this life of ours is. So we have to make our love strong. We have to make our relationship strong, our bonding strong. When we realize how short life is, then we surely realize this, then we surely utilize this time, this short time, only for love and not for any hatred. We have to strengthen our love, our bonding, our friendship, etc. We will not even know how soon we have crossed our stages like childhood, youth, old age, and where we have reached the death. Within a very short period, we reach the death. So what we have to do? We have to strengthen our relationships, friendship, love in this short period of our life. Before it's too late, we have to realize this. Each one of us we have to realize that life is very short and we have to pass all these stages in our life. Right from a birth to death, we come across so many things. During this short period of time, we have to strengthen our relationships. Here in this poem, we can see there are many images. There is a structured rhyme scheme in the poem, which makes the poem beautiful. So, hope you all have understood the summary of the poem. This is a summary of the poem, the three quatrains and a couplet. Hope you all have understood the summary of the poem. Then let's have a quick look to the most likely questions. The questions like, which season is the poet talking about? That is the autumn season or the late winters. You see the options and then you have to choose. In this poem, in which stage of life the poet imagines himself to be? What are compared to barren coils? What is referred to as death's second self? What lies on the ashes of his youth? What lies on the ashes of his youth? What does deathbed mean? When does love become more strong? Such questions will appear in the exams. Or how are stages of human life compared to the seasons in nature? The comparison, the whole summary you have to write. So these are the most likely questions asked from Sonnet 73. Hope you all have understood the summary, got the important points which appear for examination. Hope you have liked my video. Surely you will have liked my video. If you find my video useful, if you have liked my video, then what you have to do? You have to like, share, subscribe. Let me have your comments in the comment box. Thank you.